Grew up around my dad, who's a famous musician, Mr. Omari Banks. I always had the musical side kind of thrusted on me because of that. Seeing musicians come inside and outside my house from a very early age. So I always had a passion for the music, and as well as I was talented enough. I wanted to participate in talent shows, be on stage performing from the age of 5 years old. I did that for quite a while. I did that up until the age of 15, 16 years old, where I would go sing for the queens at Carnival, etc. So I had fun, and I always had a passion for music. But I fell in love really at the age of 7, 8 years old, and wanted to pursue that as a career. Did that with my whole heart. At the age of 20, I represented the West Indies team, and enjoyed playing cricket my entire time that I did so. I got to a point in my life where I wasn't prepared to go through the hard knocks and work as hard as I wanted to, as I had did previously, to get to where I was. Because of whatever we were calling politics, however else was surrounding the cricket. And I thought, instead of just staying and getting bitter, I think it's better to move on and do something else. And that's when I decided to move on, pursue my other passion, which is music.
Speaking of moving on, that is the title of your debut album.
Yes.
Moving on from cricket, did that influence the name of the album and the songs that are on the album?
Yes, definitely. Move On was the name of the album. It was the title track of the album, and it was a song which I did coming from that place. I was in a place where I was in that transition period where I was saying, and all these emotions were coming out, and I think I had to get them out somewhere. And music is something where you can really express yourself. The song Move On was written from that exact place. Even before I mentioned it to the world, I was in a quiet place by myself, putting pen to paper and really just expressing all the feelings which I had when I was deciding to transition and make that move from sport to music.
How many tracks are on this album?
There are 10 tracks on the album. So the album is one that is littered with a lot of, I should say, songs which are inspired by my views on life, whether it be relationships, love, social awareness, history, and just me sometimes having fun. I wrote a song for my daughter that's on the album that's called Samaya. Another song which I'm very close with, which is one of my favorite songs actually to perform. So the album is really a personal look into Omari Banks, the musician, the artist, just Omari Banks, my life. So I'm really proud of the album because I was able to get over to my listener who Omari Banks is as a person.
Okay, what was the favorite thing about creating this album then?
I think the favorite thing about creating this as an album is that music is something where I believe that you can really and truly express yourself. In sport, you go on a field, you have a ball and a bat, and you have to go out there and participate and play. But I think, and you don't, so many times, I think the best cricketers are the best sportsmen in the world, are ones who don't necessarily show too much emotion on the field. Music is one where you can go out there and you can really express yourself. So I'm really happy and I feel very good when I'm on stage and I'm really just expressing myself. That's a tough one. I think Jehovah Message is actually one where I can really express myself because it's a little bit more of a aggressive kind of song where I'm telling people, hey, don't judge me just by my hair. So the edgy side of that lends to a stronger performance, so I like that song a lot to actually perform live. As well as Move On is one which I really get engrossed in the song when I perform it because it's one where I'm really just speaking to the emotional side of me and all the things that went into my entire life, all the principles that went into creating Omari Banks, the person. Omari Banks, who you knew 6 years ago, was a cricketer. I was at a different place in my life. I've always been somebody who was conscious of who I am as a person, conscious who I am as an African person, African person in the Caribbean. I've always been conscious of my roots. When I decided to make that step from sport, it got even more deeper, where I started to research and pay even more attention to my culture and our history. And I think my outlook in terms of having dreads is a reflection of that. It all starts from the guitar. It all starts from, well, I should say even before the guitar, it starts from a thought. It starts with a concept of what I want the song, a thought of what I have in mind, or my opinion on a matter. A lot of the times I write my thoughts down. I might write a particular thought that I have in my head down, whether it be about a cricket match or be about an emotion that had a great impact on me. And then I go from there, I go to my guitar, I create a melody, I play a few chords, and after I play a few chords, I try to put melody and lyrics together and try to create something that's meaningful. It's always from a place of, I try to write from a place of truth. I try to write so people can relate to what I'm saying. And after I write a song, then I take it to the studio. I take it to the studio where I take it to my band actually first, band that I perform with in Anguilla. My band's name is called 11. And to be honest, the name 11 actually came from that side, cricket. I mention cricket a lot in this, in everything that I do, because it's so a part of who I am. But going back to the production part of it, I write the song. I take it to my band in Anguilla. We play it with my band in Anguilla, and then I take it to the studio, and then it kind of grows from there. It goes from one instrument, and it develops into almost like a group of instruments or an orchestra, and yeah, getting a real good feel so that I can get the fullness out of the song, not just one instrument and me vamping over that, but really to bring out the essence of the song by adding more instruments. Self-taught, I guess, yes, self-taught, but I think in life it's never truly self-taught, because you get, whether it's influences from other places. I was around my dad, so I've seen a lot of musicians. They've always been people to steer me in the direction, where they say, okay, you hold a G chord this way, hold a C chord this way, okay, you should look at this book. This is a good book to check out if you want to learn stuff. But ultimately, it's down to you and the time that you put into it. So I've spent a lot of time researching material on the internet, spent a lot of time looking at books, spent a lot of time listening to music, spent a lot of time practicing. So it's a mixture of things that goes into ensuring that you develop a skill, and I've done that over the past couple of years. I've worked very hard to try to develop what was my talent now into something that is a skill. I've performed throughout the sub-region, whether it be the Leeward Islands, St. Kitts, Nevis, Antigua, Tortola, St. Martin, Jamaica. I've did some stuff in the States. I've actually just did a show with Martin Heritage in High Octane in St. Martin, which was a really good show, which I enjoyed. So yeah, I've traveled a lot with my music, but I look to even be traveling a lot more. A lot of the stuff that I've done has been promotional, to get the word out there. A lot of people in the sub-region know about me from my music, and I've worked so hard in the past 4 years, very hard in the past 4 years, to ensure that people know me from the musical side, and I'm really getting the reception that I worked hard for. The people really love the music. I think it's a music that people can connect to. And I'm really happy to share that with the people of Barbados as well. Now, I've worked with, to be honest, and I'm not ashamed to say, some of the best in the industry. I've worked with the likes of Dean Fraser, Sly Dunbar, Junior Jazz, Robbie Lynn, Mikey Fletcher, Glenn Brown. I've worked with my dad, Mr. Omari Banks, who's not from Jamaica, but worked with Buju Banton for years. So yeah, I've really gone to some of the best in the industry. I've worked with Benji Myers. I actually worked with Benji Myers recently, who's actually a long-time friend of my dad, along with Junior Jazz. So I'm really happy to work with that group of guys, because these are people who are so respected in the business, and I'm really excited to continue working with them, because these are people who I kind of grew up with. So now, and they knew me from a kid, and now to graduate now to do the same thing that they are doing, I mean, it's an awesome feeling to work alongside them now. The song on my album is called We've Seen It All, We Did It Together. I wrote the song, and I thought it would be the perfect song that we did together. We've Seen It All is a song that I wrote thinking that in my years as a cricketer, I would have seen a lot. And I thought, and I know definitely that in his years as a musician, he would have seen a lot, the ups, the downs, the ins, the outs, trials and triumphs. So I thought when I wrote this song, when I went to the studio, it would be the perfect song that we did together. So we did that one together. We've Seen It All, and it's actually one of the favorites back home in Anguilla. Life in Anguilla, I mean, I had fun, man. My two passions is the same thing. I'll take you back to my baby book. I have a picture on Instagram of my baby book, and my favorite toys was a ball, a bat, and a guitar. Much have not changed. I can show you that picture right now. It's actually crazy. My mom documented that, so big hand to her for that. And but yeah, when I was a kid, I played a lot of sports. I played baseball, I played football, I did track and field, and I sang in talent shows. I was the captain of the football team, on the track team, so I always had a love for sports. Music was something which I had to do it. Not had to do it because I didn't want to do it, but I had to do it because it was so close to me. I had guitars in the house before I could play them. There was a guitar, drums, a piano, bass, so they were always around. And I fell in love with actually I started to play the drums first, and then I moved to playing a little bit of bass. Then I played there was a kind of guitar that's called a slide guitar, so I did a bit on that. So I've been exposed to a lot of different instruments. I'll tell you actually a kind of funny story. When we were going to high school, the music teacher would give you a recorder. I don't know if you guys do that over here. But I never learned the song. I could play all the songs by ear because I had a good ear. So if we were to play a song that I knew, I would just play the song by ear, not learn the notes, and that would be good enough, at least for that lesson. But so I always had a good knack for music, and so my childhood was really basically between sport and music. And I enjoyed that.
Looking back on your life, what would you have done differently 6 years ago?
Nothing. I lived my life saying no regrets. I think everything that happened to me with my cricket and my music happened at the right time. Maybe if I didn't play cricket, I would be a different person. I wouldn't be able to write a song that's called Move On. And I think I'm grateful. I thank God for all the blessings and all the lessons, because I think we learn more from our failures than our triumphs. And I'm so happy that I'm able to look back at my career and at my life and say I gave it my best shot. And I'm proud of that. At 20 years old, becoming the first Anguillan to play cricket for the West Indies, and respected in my country, not only for my achievements, but for the principles of hard work and dedication. I think that's something that I'm really proud of. What's on the horizon? There's a lot. My plan and the goal is to take my music as far as it can go, spread a message of love, a message of peace, a message of unity, a message of black empowerment. Because I think us as Caribbean people got to continue to feed our minds and continue to grow, so we can embrace, so we can go forward in this world together and stronger. So I'm actually really looking forward to just getting my music across all the different land masses over the world to let people see what the Caribbean and Anguilla can produce, something that's meaningful, something that can touch lives, and that can have a contribution that can outlast my lifetime.